Ever imagine yourself as that calm presence in a crisis? Someone who knows exactly what to do when everyone else is panicking.
It's a pretty powerful feeling, right?
Absolutely. That's the power of a first aid instructor track.
It really is.
You're not just teaching someone how to put on a Band-Aid or, a sprained ankle.
It's way more than that.
You're equipping people to be everyday heroes.
That's a great way to put it. It's empowering people with the confidence to act when it matters most. I remember this one time.
And lucky for you, dear listener, we've got a stack of insights from RoleCatcher to help you figure out if this is the right path for you.
It's a great resource. They really lay it all out there. And one thing they emphasize right away is that this job, it goes way beyond just textbook knowledge.
Let's unpack this. So you're interested in becoming a first aid instructor, which means you're taking your knowledge one step further, right? You're actually teaching others.
Exactly.
What does that actually look like day to day? Paint us a picture.
Okay, so picture this. You could be in a hospital training room, or maybe a bustling school gym, or even leading a corporate team building exercise, right?
Wow, lots of variety.
Oh, yeah. It's your job to break down potentially really complex medical procedures, things that could seem scary, into clear, actionable steps that anyone can understand.
So we're talking about strong communication skills, being able to adapt to different learning styles.
Exactly. Teaching a group of, say, squirmy school children about first aid, totally different approach than training a group of security guards.
Night and day.
RoleCatcher really brings this home. You need to be able to connect with everyone from absolute beginners to those needing a quick refresher. And of course, there's the hands-on element.
Yes. Those CPR dummies.
Our trusty sidekicks.
Always looked a little pale to me, but
Well, those specialized mannequins, they let your students practice those life-saving techniques in a safe, controlled environment before they ever have to use them in the real world, right? Yeah.
all right, so it's all about building confidence.
Yeah.
But RoleCatcher doesn't shy away from the tougher aspects of this job either, because it's not always going to be sunshine and smiles.
You're right. It's not always easy.
Let's talk about the emotional side of things.
Absolutely. First aid instructors, we often deal with the emotional weight of preparing people for emergencies.
For situations that might be scary or stressful.
Yeah, exactly. And it takes a certain kind of resilience to handle that, both for yourself and to be able to guide your students through it.
You're the steady hand at the wheel.
That's a good way to think about it. It's about having empathy, but also knowing how to create a safe learning environment where people feel supported even when they're tackling difficult topics.
Right, so it's about finding that balance.
Exactly. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of actually becoming a first aid instructor, let's lay it all out there, the good and the, well, maybe not so good.
Okay, hit me with those pros.
Well, one of the biggest perks is flexibility. You could be teaching in all sorts of different settings, often outside of the typical 9 to 5 grind.
Oh, so you can set your own hours.
To an extent, yeah, to fit different schedules. And with the demand for first aid training, it's constantly growing. So let's just say you won't have to worry too much about job security.
That's always good to hear.
Yeah, it's a stable career path. But it gets better. Imagine the sense of satisfaction, right? Knowing you're giving people these incredible skills to potentially save a life.
That's got to feel good.
That's something money can't buy.
Right.
But we got to be realistic, right?
Right, it's not all, sunshine and saving lines.
Exactly.
Let's flip the coin. What about the challenges that people should be prepared for?
Well, as we've mentioned, the emotional toll can be significant. You need to be comfortable dealing with I guess, the realities of emergencies, injuries, even if it's just in a training setting.
Right.
Also, depending on your role, be prepared to travel between different locations, maybe different offices or schools or whatever, and be comfortable on your feet for long periods.
So a certain level of physical stamina is helpful.
It definitely helps. And here's a big one, continuous learning that's non-negotiable.
What do you mean?
First aid protocols, the techniques, they're always evolving, so you need to be really dedicated to staying updated. Think of it less as a job and more like a dynamic field, always pushing you to learn and grow.
You've definitely got me thinking. Before we jump into the how-to of becoming a first aid instructor, take a moment, dear listener. Really think about this. Do you picture yourself thriving in those high-pressure moments, confidently guiding others? Does the thought of empowering people with these life-saving skills get you fired up? Honestly, how you answer those questions, it'll tell you a lot about whether this is the right path for you. All right, so you're ready to dive headfirst into the world of first aid instruction.
Love the enthusiasm.
But it's not as simple as, picking up a box of Band-Aids and
No,
hoping for the best, is it?
definitely
What
not.
does RoleCatcher say?
Well, they say enthusiasm's great, but you need a clear path, right?
Okay, so how do we go from eager beaver to, like, certified lifesaver? Where do we even begin?
Look at it like this. You wouldn't expect to become a chef just by reading cookbooks, right?
You'd be hungry.
Exactly. You need that hands-on experience. And same goes for first aid.
So before certifications even?
Before you even think about certifications, look for ways to get real-world exposure.
Real world. So where do we find these opportunities?
One word. Volunteering.
Volunteering.
Oh, yeah. Think local Red Cross chapters, maybe community health fairs, even fundraising events, right?
Okay, yeah.
Those are your proving grounds. And often they need extra hands to help out with everything from like basic first aid stations to maybe disaster preparedness drills.
That's a great way to build confidence and make connections all at the same time.
Exactly. And speaking of connections, don't underestimate the value of maybe joining a local community emergency response team.
What's that?
It's called a CERT.
Assert. Okay.
These groups are trained to respond to all sorts of emergencies, and you'll learn firsthand from experienced volunteers.
So you're out there in the field, seeing how everything works in real time.
It's invaluable experience.
That's incredible.
Now, while you're out there getting your hands dirty, metaphorically, of course, hopefully,
Well,
let's talk certifications.
okay, yeah, those are important.
These are non-negotiables. These are the keys to unlocking different levels of this career.
All right, let's break it down. What are the must-haves?
At a minimum, you'll need your basic CPR and first aid certifications.
Okay, basics?
They're the foundation. Everything else is built on that. And here's a little secret. Those certifications, they're not just a formality.
Really?
They can significantly impact like your earning potential as you progress in your career. Oh, wow. Okay, so those are the stepping stones. What about when I'm ready to like level up? What are some of those, I don't know, next level options that RoleCatcher recommends?
Well, once you've mastered the basics, you might consider advanced cardiac life support,
Advanced cardiac life support.
or ACLS. It goes deeper. It teaches you to manage those high-stakes cardiac emergencies.
Sounds intense.
It's definitely next level.
What else?
For those who thrive under pressure, there's basic life support,
Okay.
or BLS. You'll be trained to act super quickly, super effectively in life-threatening situations. Think of it as fine-tuning your ability to, think critically and make those split-second decisions when it matters most.
Wow, sounds intense.
It's intense, but it's rewarding.
Okay, so I can see how those certifications, they kind of build on each other, right? Like adding more and more skills to your toolkit as you go.
Exactly. And if you are truly passionate about emergency care and you want to take your skills even further, becoming an emergency medical technician or an EMT opens up a whole new world of possibilities. EMT, that's a whole other level of, responsibility.
It is. But it just goes to show this field has incredible room for growth.
Wow.
And that's something RoleCatcher really emphasizes throughout their guide, Continuous Learning. It's key. This isn't a learn it once and you're done kind of field.
Right, right. It's always evolving. I mean, the medical field is always evolving, and first aid techniques are no different.
You've got it. Attending workshops, staying up to date on the latest protocols, maybe even shadowing more experienced instructors. All of these things show your dedication and they keep your skills sharp. But it's not just about collecting certifications like they're trophies, is it?
Right. So there's more to standing out than just a wall full of certificates.
Absolutely. Think about it. You're building a career, right?
Yeah.
And like any good builder, you need to showcase your craftsmanship.
So how do you do that as a first aid instructor?
Start by building a professional portfolio.
A portfolio, okay.
This could include detailed lesson plans you've developed, testimonials from past students, maybe even photos of you in action during a training.
Oh, I like that. So it's like creating this highlight reel of your first aid instructor skills.
Exactly.
Okay.
Don't underestimate the power of networking.
Networking, right.
Attending conferences, maybe joining online forums for first aid instructors. These are amazing ways to learn from others, share your expertise, and you never know, you might make connections that could lead to some really exciting opportunities down the line.
It's like they say, it's all about who you know.
Sometimes it really is.
So it's about being proactive, putting yourself out there, becoming part of the community, not just sitting back and waiting for opportunities to fall into your lap.
Exactly. And while we're talking about building a career, RoleCatcher does a really good job of outlining the typical career stages you can expect in this field.
Oh, yeah. What's that look like?
Well, it's not a sprint, right? It's a marathon.
It's a journey.
Exactly. So you'd likely begin as what they call an entry-level first aid instructor. You'll be assisting more seasoned instructors, getting a feel for different teaching styles, really learning the ropes.
So it's like mastering those foundational skills, soaking up as much knowledge as you can.
Be a sponge.
Love it.
Yeah.
And then what comes next?
Well, as you gain experience, you'll step into the role of junior first aid instructor. You'll be leading your own classes, developing training materials, really starting to refine your own personal teaching style.
This is where you really get to make it your own.
Exactly. And then finally, you reach the pinnacle, senior first aid instructor.
Now we're talking.
Now we're talking. At this stage, you're the mentor. You're the guiding light for those newer instructors. You might be overseeing training programs, making sure everyone meets the latest industry standards, maybe even collaborating with organizations to design custom training programs.
Wow. You've gone from, like, assisting with basic first aid to potentially shaping the future of first aid training.
It's a journey.
That's incredible.
And the beauty of this career is that the learning, it never stops. Whether you're fresh out of your first certification course or you're a seasoned veteran, there's always something new to discover, another skill to master.
We've talked about the skills, the experience, even what a potential career path could look like as a first aid instructor.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
Hmm.
But now comes that moment of truth. The time to really sell yourself.
Yeah.
The interview.
Oh, yeah, the interview.
Everyone's favorite part. But this is where things get interesting, right? Remember those AI-powered tools from RoleCatcher we mentioned earlier?
How could we forget?
How their platform helps you prepare for interviews.
Well, imagine this.
Okay.
Imagine having a secret weapon during your prep. A tool that not only analyzes thousands of interview questions, but actually decodes what employers are really looking for in your answers.
Okay, now you've got my attention.
Right.
Give me the inside scoop.
It's like this. You upload your CV
Okay.
and the job description, right, to their platform.
Yeah.
Their AI analyzes both, looking for any potential skill gaps, and uses that information to predict the questions you are most likely to be asked.
Wow.
It's all based on the specific requirements of that particular job.
Oh, that's smart.
Right. So you're not wasting time prepping for questions that are totally irrelevant.
So it's like having a personalized study guide almost.
Yeah.
Tailored to each individual job that you apply for.
Precisely. But here's the really cool part. RoleCatcher doesn't just predict the questions.
What? There's more.
Oh, yeah. It helps you practice your answers.
Hold on. I can actually practice answering interview questions right there on the platform.
You got it. You record yourself answering those predicted questions.
Okay.
And then the AI analyzes your performance.
No way.
It looks at everything. Your pacing, your tone of voice, even your body language.
Oh, wow.
And then it gives you specific feedback on how to improve.
So you're saying no more pacing back and forth in my living room, rehearsing in front of the mirror.
Exactly. It's about replacing those nervous jitters with the confidence that comes from knowing you're well prepared.
This is incredible. So we've covered this, like amazing AI-powered interview prep. But RoleCatcher has even more to offer, right?
Yeah.
What else can this platform do?
Oh, yeah. They've got a few tricks up their sleeve.
Like what?
They have tools that can help you optimize your CV, your resume, all that.
Okay, yeah.
We're talking AI-powered suggestions to help your key skills really shine through and grab the attention of potential employers.
I bet that's a huge time saver.
Oh, absolutely. But here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
RoleCatcher can actually help you get discovered by employers.
Discovered?
I know, right?
What does that even mean?
It's not quite a dating app, but
Like a job seeker dating app.
the principle is kind of similar. Think of it as putting yourself out there in a whole new way.
Okay.
You opt in. Your profile becomes visible to employers who are actively searching for someone with your exact skill set.
Oh, so they come to you.
They come to you.
Wow. That flips the script. Instead of sending out dozens of applications and hoping for the best, you're basically taking control, putting the power back in your hands.
Exactly. But we'll have to save a deep dive into those features for another episode.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
But for now, let's leave our listeners with this. We've covered a ton of information today about what it takes to become a first aid instructor, from the practical skills to the emotional demands, all of it.
It's a rewarding challenge.
It is. But before you jump into those online certifications or start practicing your chest compressions on a melon, there's an important question you need to ask yourself.
Ooh, I like this. What is it?
What kind of first aid instructor do you want to be? What are those unique qualities that you bring to the table?
Right. Your own personal touch.
Exactly. The experiences that set you apart. Once you can answer that, you'll be well on your way to not just acing that interview, but building a career that's both fulfilling and impactful. Thanks for diving in with us.